Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and today we're talking about copyright strikes and the scumbag creators that are apparently behind some of the most notable ones of the last 2 weeks. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, the copyright system is almost like a jihad against smaller creators at this moment in time, or creators in general, because it's a system that exists not just on YouTube, but plenty of websites where basically you file up a little DMCA form, you say, hey, my video got stolen, my content got stolen. And, most websites that host user-generated content like YouTube pretty much sit there and go, okay, yeah, sure, we'll comply, we'll take down that video. Now, the DMCA is a legal, process. Basically, when you tell somebody, yeah, I'm taking down your content, you're pretty much telling them you're going to go to court over it. Now, obviously, we've talked about a recent situation regarding TechLead, for instance, who used the copyright system as a sort of hazing on the internet, which is not only illegal, but it is far against YouTube's terms of services. Now, what has YouTube effectively done since then? Well, let's jump into TechLead real quick, very briefly, and go over exactly where our favorite little millionaire has been since then. Now, ever since I covered the initial TechLead situation about 2 weeks ago, TechLead decided to issue a DMCA strike on me. Now, you probably have seen this in like Charlie's video. He asked me about it, and basically the information was actually quite good. So this is something that I was sent. Basically, I was telling people that TechLead is still filing false DMCA claims. And if you can see, this is what a DMCA claim looks like when it's sent to you. So you get the copyright owner's name, which is, TechLead's company, all right, which is not private information, by the way. You get the full legal name, which obviously I've blurred out because as much as I dislike this guy, doxing somebody and giving out their full name is basically grounds to have your video terminated, and I wouldn't do it anyways. And then, of course, you can see that their title or job position, self. I am self of TechLead LLC. Yeah, that's a real job title. And of course, you can see the username is TechLead, and it was his actual email address. So it's actually insane when you looked at which video. So this is obviously the video I covered where TechLead was, 2 weeks ago, I made the video on him. Basically said YouTube should get involved and remove this guy for effectively abusing the content, or copyright system. Now, TechLead got a little smarter. Instead of just saying the whole video was his, he said 11:25 to 12:05 was his piece of content, okay, which is fair enough, all right? That's an upgrade. Now, YouTube decided to step into the situation and tell me, hey, we received this copyright infringement notification. We believe your content is protected by fair use, fair dealing, or a similar exception to copyright protection. We are writing to let you know we do not plan to remove your video at this time. So this is actually when YouTube steps in and says, whoa, buddy, you're safe. We think that this is obviously fair use. Now, I like to imagine because of the massive, spotlight that TechLead put onto himself, YouTube was probably like, all right, let's just hold back any claims from this person and call, let's be careful. Let's not ruin the platform. Now, obviously, TechLead is one of those guys where 2 weeks ago he said, I quit tech, all right? I guarantee he's going to come out with a video in like the next week anyways, talking about some stupid crypto bullshit. Now, I wish TechLead could respond to my actual initial, one of the points that I had in my video where I asked him about why he's trying to conceal the fact that, he was running Million Token. A lot of the descriptions ended up getting changed on his videos. You could find out, verify through the Wayback Machine. A coin that actually dropped 98% in value all time? Yeah. Where's the answer here, Patrick? Where are you going to talk about your coin ad? It's a 98% loss, which is better than the 99% loss average for most shitcoin cryptos. There hasn't even been massive responses to these big Reddit posts where it's like, how YouTuber TechLead scammed his own followers out of millions by creating Million Token and got away with it. I would imagine, if I was you, TechLead, I would get on top of this and pretty much give a succinct response as to why your crypto-defining project ended up failing. Now, that being said, TechLead is probably the least egregious people in the video we're covering today. Now, the next person in our copyright, crusade here is SSSniperwolf. We haven't heard this name last time since he showed up to another creator's house. Now, SSSniperwolf is a massive creator, 34.5 million subscribers. Now, of course, SSSniperwolf was a content creator that, started off, covering Metal Gear, as the name Sniperwolf, denotes. Now, because, she makes videos about Metal Gear, I'm actually going to just do a quick little, mock-up of what her videos are like, because I don't want to get copyright struck by her, okay? I don't want to have any of that nonsense. So here she's talking about the Metal Gear Legacy unboxing. All right, this is effectively what the video is. Whoa, pal, Metal Gear. Whoa, it's got one disc and it's got another. That's pretty much what I expect out of most fucking unboxings anyways. But the reason why she's in the news again, or the cycle, is that if you look at SSniperwolf's content now, it's evolved a lot past the unboxing content. Now she covers, TikTok videos like dark cartoons that will ruin your childhood. SpongeBob, my boy. Design fail so bad it's actually funny. Autistic boy gets kicked out of restaurant. She's not even covering tomorrow's teachings, okay? She's covering like fucking Darman, okay? The most boring shit out there. Now, obviously, her most original content now is probably I tried weird candy and food hacks from TikTok, right? Where she's actually in front of a camera in her kitchen doing stupid TikToks, okay? Wild stuff. Now, for a lot of these videos that SSniperwolf produces, she is ultimately watching somebody else's content, in some cases in its entirety on YouTube. And her reactions are very minimal, if anything. I would imagine if this went to a court of law, under the fair use principles, which actually follows under 4 guidelines, the argument of her using the entirety of this content might actually make her, lose a case. But again, all cases of copyright abuse have to be tested. So anyways, her content is effectively her reacting to other TikToks in their entirety. I actually don't even think she reacts. I think she has a Google document. She just rapid fires these videos, makes like 6 of them, puts a down payment on the next fucking mansion, I guess. That's pretty much how I think the SSniperwolf stuff goes. So SSniperwolf has been accused of actually copyright claiming another YouTuber. One YouTuber known as One Giant Onion. Now, this guy makes, content that recently is more commentary focused on, big problems in internet society. So he's talking about Dr. Disrespect here, the strange world of alpha males, Master Oogway. For anybody that doesn't know the Master Oogway thing, this guy was pretty much popular for, titling videos. Adolf Hitler is my N-word with the soft A, for friend, okay? Last one I'd be friends with is one of the boys running the Third Reich. But, that's pretty much the kind of content that he produces. Anyways, he made a video or a live stream regarding SSniperwolf, and I'll let him explain this situation in better detail.
Today, I logged onto my YouTube account to change the thumbnail of one of my videos, and I was met with something very shocking. I actually have received a strike on my channel. Now, at first, I was really confused because I haven't done anything wrong. Honestly, when I first received this news, I thought maybe I got struck for one of my older, edgier videos.
Oh boy, a strike when a YouTuber gets it is probably one of the most dangerous things they can get. Now for him, his YouTube channel is effectively his livelihood. Now if you're wondered, Mudo, why don't you turn YouTube into a job? This is why, okay? Because if I woke up one day and I found out, oh boy, I'm getting my channel taken down in 7 days, I would actually have the worst anxiety attack that I could ever even conceive of, okay? I would actually just be throwing up projectile vomiting around my house. So yeah, YouTube is a very, very fickle source of revenue, especially when you're dealing with unhinged people that can issue copyright claims that can absolutely ruin your channel, your livelihood, if you especially don't have the means to fight back legally and obviously are able to compose yourself and handle this situation in a very professional manner. So what is the actual video that got struck here?
Upon further inspection, it turns out that I actually received a copyright strike from SSniperwolf. She took down one of my videos called Watching SSniperwolf Until I Laugh. Now, this was a 3-hour-long video where I watched most of SSniperwolf's content, and the premise was she's not funny, so I'm just gonna stay there and not laugh, pretty much.
So, okay, this is also a pretty scary thing that he just basically admitted to. Now, if you look at the copyright strike over here, you can see that it was actually done as part of a live stream. So, or I believe a longer form piece of content. So 3 hours of video footage. And what had effectively happened was, whoever filed this claim, whether it be SSniperwolf or not, has effectively said that the content was found between the beginning of the video and 10 minutes and 1 second into the video right here. So to get brass facts with everyone here right now, I'm just going to say, as much as I think the internet loves to hate on SSniperwolf, the reality is this situation is incredibly complicated at this moment in time. It's complicated because Onion decided to hide or, conceal who actually filed the strike to begin with. So it's not readily apparent that the email address, which we haven't even seen, belongs to SSniperwolf or a domain she owns, nor do we know that the actual person that is filing this this is SniperWolf or related to her. It could be a completely separate strike done by a complete third party. Now, this is a big issue in YouTube, and I really wish that down the road that anybody filing these will have to prove themselves. Now, at the beginning of the video, I showed TechLead, and what I concealed was his actual email address, which you can connect to him, and of course his full legal name. So I'm wondering why he didn't show that to begin with, even if he had to conceal it out, or at least prove to us that this was actually SniperWolf. Now, looking further into Onion's content, the streams that he did, while I can't see the SniperWolf one, I did, however, watch the Logan Paul stream. And the problem with the Logan Paul streams is that he literally does what SniperWolf is doing. He just sits there and watches somebody else's content without adding anything to it to transform the content. So, in reality, you can't really defend this guy. If SniperWolf chose to strike him, there might have been a pretty good reason for it. Now, I think it's actually hilarious that a creator like SniperWolf, who pretty much relies on everyone else to produce her content for her that she just reacts to, that is hilarious when somebody of that nature is copyright striking anything. When I ever work on content, even if I make videos regarding Shenmue, for instance, even if that is an hour-long video game essay, the last thing I do is copyright strike anything. I think there's kind of an understanding from creators that if you're going to be using other content, even if you are transforming it, maybe there should be some understanding that you probably don't put other creators in jeopardy. Or at least you reach out to them to see if they can remove the content or possibly enable some variance of, profit sharing. But that said, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the things that I wanted to really look at. I wanted to give this a real nuanced take, because I know that Charlie and a few other people have already talked about this, but nobody was really asking these questions, and I feel like these are incredibly important questions to ask. If you use somebody's entirety of their content, remember back to the 4 principles of fair use. If you use their entirety of their content, it might actually end up being bad for you. If you become a market substitute, meaning that nobody has to go to the original channel, they can just go right to you, especially if you're watching all of their content, you might be at the wrong end of the fair use fight in this situation. So, even if SniperWolf is content or copyright striking you, let's say you watched all of her 10 minutes of her trying out TikTok life hacks, and it's all literally her produced content, you might end up inadvertently shooting yourself in the foot. So obviously Charlie makes a video, she responds and says, "That channel made no attempt to contact me and neither did you. Dog, do you really think we want you showing up at our fucking house? Hell no. I have no pending takedown notices on my channel, so how can I confirm it's not fake drama? It's irresponsible to make a video with false information without reaching out for the facts." And that's where I'm going to give, SniperWolf a little bit of credit over here. So SniperWolf decides to give us the Carfax and show us exactly what her channel copyright situation looks like. Now, if you're looking carefully into this, you can see that she has filed a removal request. What is this? The best of TikToks? Top TikTok hacks? Cutest animals? The most hilarious? She's literally filing them on fan cam channels as a SniperWolf top videos. So it's actually insane. It's actually so wild how she said, "Hey, listen, I didn't file that claim, but here's a whole list of other claims that I fired." Now, if you actually open up a removal request form, for my channel, you're going to see this cute little graphic, because I've never filed a single removal request since my time here on YouTube, okay? Since, Legend of Zelda, part 1 Let's Play with me and Zahid, I have never filed an actual copyright claim. So it is insane how I'm looking at this kind of shit and how it even absolves somebody. So unsurprisingly, a follow-up to this was where Onion basically said, "Here's the whole strike, incomplete." And if you look carefully, it says the content was removed by SSSniperwolf Collab Company. Again, it's still not enough to work with an email, but it is absolutely irresponsible that he decided to throw her under the bus when he didn't even know the full information of the claimant. Now again, what's wild is on Charlie's video, he goes out and says, "This plot twist is insane. I still have no clue if it was her or someone else. Very wild situation." I don't think actually spreading misinformation is wild. I think it's literally a situation where you should have absolutely got your stuff together before you, again, if you don't understand the copyright system to begin with, why inflame the world? And I think there's a fair bit of blame to put on like any creator, Charlie included as well, who decided to cover this without actually like critically looking at how the situation was presented. Somebody could be filing on behalf of SniperWolf, or somebody could be filing a false claim, which if that is true, SniperWolf needs to take legal action against this person for falsely impersonating her and putting her under the bus in the public eye. And YouTube needs a more stern review of the process before they actually remove somebody's content if they can't even verify that the person making the fucking claim is an actual like owner of the copyright. You know, it's one of those things where like, if I find, you know, a piece of video game footage on the internet, right? Like imagine if somebody has like, you know, a 500,000 viewed video on Fallout, and I just pretended to be Bethesda. Not only did I break the law, but because of how broken the system is, that video may be taken down because somebody filed a seemingly real-looking legal notice that resembled a Bethesda lawyer or somebody that owned that copyright. It is insane. But of course, this whole situation doesn't even stop here because it escalates into an even worse situation. Now, this is a content creator known as The Manny Show. Now, The Manny Show has 12.2 million something subscribers. And, you know, if you actually look into his content real quickly, you'll find out, whoa, this lad's got 12 billion something views. Now, you might be like, whoa, have I ever heard of this channel before? Now, if you go to the most popular videos, you can find out, damn, nothing's ever cracked a whole million over here. Now, I'm not going to say that this is indicative of botting, but it's definitely a little sus, so to speak. Now, the Manny Show's videos are actually played, from my understanding, at an oncologist's office, okay? Just because what effectively happens is like, you know, when an oncologist has to go to their patient and tell them, yeah, you got inoperable brain cancer, they play a little bit of Manny Show in the front of them so that then the person knows, you know, it's probably better to die from the terminal illness than to exist in a world where this comedy exists. Now, you know, Manny Show is also, you know, made fun of on the internet pretty much for making fan cams of Jeffrey Dahmer for some instance. You know, green screening himself where, you know, he's basically in this sort of defense squad. I think making a fan cam of Jeffrey Dahmer is literally on the equivalent of making fan cams for like what, John Wayne Gacy? He only killed like 40 people and put him under his floorboard, guys. He's only a misunderstood funny clown. Yeah, John Wayne Gacy's humor is somehow on the same level of Manny's Show. Maybe he might actually be funnier because, you know, the whole sociopath thing. The whole Jeffrey Dahmer bit is like making fan cams for Pigsy in Manhunt, dude. Weird behavior. Now, you know, being unfunny is not necessarily a crime in of itself. But where it does become a bit of an issue is when you file content or copyright claims on people that make fun of your content. Now, this is a situation where, honestly, I feel like the law is probably going to be tested simply because of the nature of it. Remember, when we're talking about fair use, there is a whole 4 tiers that you have to look at, right? And one of the most important is how much of the content did you use? Now, The Manny Show primarily makes a lot of TikTok-related content. And the thing with TikTok-related content is it's maybe what, like 30 seconds long, 40, maybe a minute at most? If you use a minute of somebody's TikTok footage, you've basically used every single piece of their TikTok footage right there, which means that fair use probably wouldn't apply that well. So anyways, one creator made this video called Why Everyone Hates the Manny Show, Enjuine. Now, I haven't been able to see this video because it hasn't been available on YouTube at the time of filming this. And what basically had happened was he had received a copyright strike on his channel. And that copyright strike was from The Manny Show, apparently. And it was, you know, content found between minute 48 to 2:01. So even if it was a small portion of the time, if you use their entire video, they probably have some sort of actual, you know, case to make against you. Now, again, I think it's wild because when you watch The Manny Show, he definitely takes jokes and inspiration and straight up clips from what I believe to be other creators or content as well. So it's much like the SniperWolf situation. How is it that you're actually issuing, you know, removal requests when you yourself require other people's content in order to make yourself funnier? And in Manny Show's case, actually involve the humor. He can't make humor himself, okay? He needs other people's injected content to make the funny. It makes no actual goddamn sense in this situation. And it's one of those things where I feel like it needs to be properly addressed. What I really unfortunately feel about this situation is obviously it feels like this guy can't handle criticism towards his video. Now, I like to say that I use everything as fair use as I can. I've only used 3 seconds of his content to show you how unfunny he is from my personal lens, okay? Now, if Manny Show decided to go after me with a content ID claim, I would obviously counter it, and I would have the intention to sue him in order to prove how I broke the law. I really feel like these creators are getting really fast and loose with shutting down as much criticism as they can through the DMCA tool. Because if you look at the pattern, they're really going after creators who aren't necessarily stealing their content to re-upload it without their permission. It's to show them how unfunny they can be or just take a light jab at them. If you can't handle a light jab in the internet world, then you actually do not belong on the internet. And if you are illegally abusing actual documents like this, you should be removed or at least unpartnered by YouTube, in my opinion. Like, if your content relies on you getting people's shorts and then lip syncing other people's audio, that in of itself can also, I mean, this guy doesn't understand that he could also be liable to being hit with content ID strikes or copyright strikes by the creators he decides to duet. It is insane. So I guess the last part of the situation was looking into Skibidi Toilet. Now, yeah, somehow Skibidi Toilet has also been involved in the copyright kerfuffles. So looking into this one Gyazo post posted by WestJet in regards to investigating the defuck boom situation, what had effectively happened was the creator behind the Skibidi Toilet situation, or the Skibidi Toilet property, was actually going after, entire videos, telling them that they were basically infringing on the Skibidi Toilet trademarks, copyright protected characters, storylines, and names, and they were going after the intellectual property that was used. Now, let me remind you how goddamn stupid it is for copywriting a meme. Okay, imagine if I had went after every single TikToker, Instagram liver, Twitter user, whatever the hell, for using my laugh meme. That would make me a digital pariah within 2 hours. I would actually be more hated than Sniperwolf if I decided to do that. Could I legally do it? Probably not. Maybe in some cases if it's just a blanket upload of my video. But the thing about memes is there's also an unwritten understanding that you just kind of share it around. Now, I was under the actual idea that Skibidi Toilet was probably a fair use minefield to begin with, because it was heavily reliant on Valve's actual copyright as well too. The amount of Skibidi Toilet with the G-Man that I saw, I actually believed wholeheartedly that it was something that pretty much Valve allowed was going to happen. Now, obviously, if you're a creator on the internet reacting to every single Skibidi Toilet video in its entirety, there's a good chance that your content might end up being taken down, and there's not really going to be any sympathy from my end. But now a video made by Flamingo, who actually talked about the situation even as well as, I would say, 9 months ago, because yes, the situation was bad for almost a year. Basically, what was effectively happening was content creators on Roblox developing video games like Skibidi Toilet Tower Defense started to claim that it ended up getting a copyright strike. Games that would be getting 3,000 active users, which was a fair bit for Roblox at the time. The creator copyrighted me and it's deleted. Do I need to take further action or delete stuff, or has Roblox already done any of that? Now, the thing about it is, if you're the creator of Skibidi Toilet, you probably got Skibidi Toilet money, which is a lot according to Social Blade on YouTube if you just use the appropriate averages. And when you got somebody that rich and potentially that unhinged, it's probably better to not fuck around with them when it comes to copyright situations. Because if you get sued by somebody like that and they end up winning in court, it ends up permeating and ruining the entire legal framework of the entire platform. So one thing, even on the Roblox marketplace, when you type in Skibidi in the marketplace too, you'll find out very quickly that there are people actually selling, Skibidi assets on the actual framework for about 85 Roblox, okay? 70 Roblox, 75. So for actual money, okay, people are selling Skibidi Toilet stuff. So we're getting into a point where memes are becoming actual microtransactions on the site. So the person behind Skibidi Toilet, who actually made the original tool, would probably look at this and think maybe it's worth copyright taking these down, because they're not necessarily making these for free. They're literally just making this to sell on the platform to a bunch of kids who happen to get a Roblox gift card from their grandma. Now look, at the end of the day, when it comes to copyright strikes, this is the only time where I really feel like I like to get involved in situations like this, discussing other creators, because I think at the end of the day, the real damage is for us content creators, or really the whole platform, is when, you know, cases like these keep being abused, or eventually if this does go to court, it makes the entire landscape of reacting to content or, you know, discussing content in a fair use manner becomes more of a threat on YouTube. Now, in this situation, I've discussed 4 actual cases, and I think in 4 of these cases, just been a situation that has been escalating into not just a more egregious use of the copyright system, but one that is more nuanced as we went along. Obviously, TechLead from the beginning was more of a joke. He really didn't have any claim as far as I'm concerned. He was somebody that was abusing the system, again, in his own words, to haze, you know, the other new creators on the platform. And then we get to Skibidi Toilet, where it gets more complicated. You know, money is involved, okay? Actual assets, even if they are, you know, jerry-rigged together from like Valve's own intellectual property, becomes a bit of a tough issue and a tough sell, especially if the stuff goes to court. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.